Hello, everyone. The British royal family is facing a crisis unlike any before, one that feels colder, deeper, and more permanent. Prince William and Prince Harry haven't spoken in over a year. Meghan Markle's claims of racism sent shockwaves through the monarchy. Now, King Charles is battling cancer, and rumors of an early abdication are growing louder within the palace. But the biggest question remains: if King Charles steps down, what happens next? Will William willingly take the EDY throne, or will he hesitate? Will Catherine, the Princess of Wales, be thrust into the role of Queen sooner than expected? And could this be the moment that forces Prince Harry to choose between his marriage and his royal birthright? For years, the royal family's struggles have played out on the world stage. Scandals, betrayals, and shocking revelations. But this time, it's not just about drama. This moment could redefine the monarchy's future. What we uncover today will change the way you see the royal family forever. Stay with me as we break down why Prince William has completely cut Harry out of his life, how Catherine's battle with cancer has reshaped her views on family and forgiveness, and the shocking truth behind King Charles's health and the palace's hidden struggles. And here's the question no one dares to ask: if Harry returns to the UK, will it be with or without Meghan? Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Do you think Prince Harry still belongs in the royal family? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you're ready for the full story, hit that like button. Let's get started. What happened to the brotherly bond that once felt unbreakable? Prince William and Prince Harry were once inseparable. Two boys shaped by tragedy, walking side by side behind their mother's coffin, forever connected by grief, duty, and blood. And yet, today, they are strangers. Not just distant, but completely cut off. No calls, no meetings, no attempts at reconciliation. William has closed the door, and this time it may never reopen. How did it come to this? Was Meghan Markle's arrival the breaking point, or was their bond already crumbling under the weight of royal duty? Was Harry always meant to leave, or did the institution force him out? The truth is, the rift between the Sussexes and the royal family wasn't caused by one dramatic moment. It was a slow, painful unraveling played out under the relentless gaze of the public. It began with whispers. At first, Harry and Meghan were seen as the monarchy's bright future, young, modern, and full of promise. The Queen welcomed Meghan with open arms. Charles proudly walked her down the aisle. William and Catherine, though reserved, extended warm gestures. The world celebrated a love story unlike anything the royal family had seen before. Then, the whispers became headlines. Meghan was labeled difficult. Stories spread about clashes with staff, high demands, and even tears over bridesmaid dresses. Private tensions leaked to the press. But the real breaking point came when Meghan and Harry claimed the royal family itself had turned against them. And then came the bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey. Meghan revealed she had been silenced, left without support, and struggled with her mental health, while the institution looked the other way. But the most shocking claim: a senior royal allegedly questioned the skin color of their unborn child. That single moment sent shockwaves through the monarchy. Was there racism within the palace? The Queen, ever composed, responded with the now famous line, "Recollections may vary." But the damage was done. From that point on, Harry and Meghan weren't just a young couple stepping away from royal life. They were seen as traitors. And then came Spare. Harry's memoir wasn't just a tell-all. It was a scorched earth campaign against his own family. Harry accused William of physically attacking him. He called Camilla dangerous. He described Charles as emotionally distant. But the most devastating revelation? His portrayal of William. The future king was painted as cold, cruel, and trapped. Harry exposed private conversations and intimate moments, a betrayal unlike anything seen in royal history. And now, William has had enough. The brothers haven't spoken since Queen Elizabeth's funeral. When Catherine was diagnosed with cancer, Harry wasn't informed. William made sure of it. To him, there's no room for reconciliation. Not as long as Meghan remains in the picture. But has William made the right choice? Some believe he's protecting his wife, children, and the future of the monarchy from what they see as a calculated attack by Harry and Meghan. Others argue this is exactly what Diana feared, the institution turning its own members against each other. They see Harry as simply doing what his mother never could, breaking free. Where do you stand? Should William forgive his brother, or is the damage beyond repair? Let me know in the comments. She has been called the glue of the royal family, the steady force behind Prince William. A woman who, despite every challenge, has never let the weight of the crown break her. But now, as the royal family faces its deepest divide, one question remains: is Catherine, the Princess of Wales, the only one who can reunite William and Harry? For years, Catherine was a quiet yet graceful presence beside her husband. She never sought the spotlight, never engaged in public feuds. But make no mistake, her influence has always run deeper than many realize. Even Harry once called her the sister I never had. There was a time when he adored and trusted her. But that bond is now broken. The moment Meghan entered the picture, something changed. Meghan had hoped to become Catherine's closest ally, her new best friend. But Catherine, always cautious, kept her distance. She was polite, even welcoming, but never overly familiar. And Meghan noticed. She resented it. Then came the bridesmaid dress scandal. It seemed simple. Princess Charlotte's dress for Meghan's wedding didn't fit properly. Catherine, just weeks after giving birth to Prince Louis, was upset and wanted the dresses altered. Meghan disagreed. Tears were shed. But whose? The press first reported that Meghan had made Catherine cry. Later, Meghan claimed it was the other way around. The palace remained silent, burying the truth under royal discretion. But that moment was a turning point. From then on, the tension between the two women could no longer be ignored. And now, years later, after accusations, betrayals, and a fractured family, Catherine is the only one who hasn't completely closed the door. Despite everything, she still sends gifts to Archie and Lilibet on their birthdays. Even as William refuses to speak to Harry, Catherine still believes in the power of family. But here's the problem. William is done. Her cancer diagnosis changed her. Facing her own mortality, she now sees what truly matters. She believes in forgiveness, in healing. But William has made it clear he wants nothing to do with his brother. Can Catherine change his mind? Some say yes. They believe she is the one person William truly listens to, that if anyone can soften his heart, it's her. More than anyone, she understands how deeply losing his mother shaped him, and how losing Harry completely might haunt him forever. But others argue. This isn't just a sibling dispute. Some believe Harry and Meghan have caused too much damage, that no matter how kind Catherine is, she cannot erase the years of hurt, betrayal, and public humiliation William has endured. And perhaps the bigger question is, does Harry even want to be brought back into the fold? One thing is certain. If there is any hope for reconciliation, it rests with Catherine. The real question is, will she try? And if she does, will William ever listen? Meanwhile, another crisis looms over the royal family. For decades, William waited, the longest-serving heir in British history. Now, just over a year into his reign, whispers of abdication are growing louder. King Charles III is battling cancer, and for the first time, the future of the monarchy feels uncertain. Will he step down? Royal watchers have been speculating for months. Buckingham Palace confirmed that the king is undergoing treatment, but they remain tight-lipped about the details. The official statement insists that His Majesty remains fully engaged in his duties. But behind palace walls, the reality may be far more complex. When the word hospice briefly appeared on the royal website before being quickly removed, it sent shockwaves through the public. Was it just a mistake, or did it reveal more than the palace intended? King Charles is 75. His mother lived to 96, but his grandfather, King George VI, passed away at just 56, his declining health hidden from the public until the very end. The monarchy has a long history of concealing the truth about the health of its rulers. So how serious is this? Reports suggest that Charles's condition requires weekly treatment. While he has made public appearances, they have been noticeably limited. He has also begun delegating more responsibilities to Prince William, signaling a slow but deliberate transition. And that leads to the bigger question. Is abdication inevitable? History tells us that British monarchs do not step down easily. Queen Elizabeth II famously vowed to serve until her last breath. But Charles is a very different king. There is one precedent: his own uncle, King Edward VIII. He abdicated in 1936 for love, sending shock waves through the monarchy. But unlike Edward, Charles has spent his entire life preparing for this role. Would he really walk away now, so soon after finally taking the throne? There are two ways to look at this. Some believe that Charles, aware of his own limitations, may choose to step aside while he still has control over the transition. Some believe Charles will not cling to power as his mother did, that he will pass the crown to William while he is still able to guide him. But others argue that after waiting so long for this moment, he will not surrender the throne willingly. As long as he is physically capable, Charles will remain king. The real question is, what does the palace know that we don't? And perhaps the biggest question of all, is William ready? For now, the crown remains on Charles's head, but the weight of it may already be shifting. For years, two women have been compared, two duchesses, two very different approaches to royal life. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, one a symbol of tradition, duty, and quiet resilience, the other a force of modernity, independence, and outspoken change. The press called it a rivalry. The public took sides. But was this really a battle between two women? Or was it the monarchy itself being pulled in two opposing directions? To understand where it all went wrong, we have to go back to the beginning. When Meghan first joined the royal family, there was hope. Hope that she and Catherine would be natural allies. Two women married to the most famous brothers in the world. Two future queens, one by marriage, one by influence. But that never happened. By her own admission, Meghan expected a warm embrace from Catherine. She wanted a sisterhood, a bond built on shared experience. But Catherine was cautious, reserved. She had spent over a decade carefully navigating royal life, earning the trust of the family, the institution, and the British public. And Meghan, she didn't want to wait. The first sign of tension came early. In her Netflix documentary, Meghan admitted she was surprised by the formality of royal life. Behind closed doors, Meghan assumed the curtsies, protocols, and formal distance were just for the cameras. But to Catherine, duty wasn't an act. It was a way of life. Then came the bridesmaid dress incident. Princess Charlotte's dress didn't fit properly. Catherine, just weeks after giving birth to Prince Louis, was concerned and wanted the dresses adjusted. Meghan disagreed. Tears were shed. But whose? The press reported that Meghan made Catherine cry. Later, Meghan claimed it was the other way, around. The truth remained buried beneath royal secrecy. But this wasn't just about a dress. It was about power, control, and the unspoken rules of the monarchy. Catherine followed those rules. Meghan wanted to rewrite them. And then, Meghan and Harry walked away. When they left, they didn't just close the door, they slammed it shut. The Oprah interview, the accusations of racism, the claim that Catherine made Meghan cry without ever correcting the record. It all lingered. The response? Silence. But beneath that silence, the damage was done. Catherine, always known for her grace, was reportedly deeply hurt. She never spoke against Meghan, never retaliated, never defended herself. And now, the gap between them has only widened. Meghan lives in California, Catherine in Windsor. Meghan and Harry have openly criticized the institution that Catherine will one day represent. Yet, Catherine still sends gifts to Meghan's children, Archie and Lilibet. Why? Because for her, family matters, even when it's painful. But the bigger question remains, does Meghan even want to mend the relationship? Some believe she has moved on, focused on her future in Hollywood, far from royal life. Others argue she still values her connection to the monarchy more than she lets on. Despite everything, she still longs for acknowledgement, respect, and recognition from the monarchy. So, what happens now? Will Catherine ever share her side of the story? Will Meghan and Harry take responsibility for their part in the divide? Or is this a rift that may never mend? There was a time when Prince Harry's return to the royal family felt inevitable. No matter how far he drifted or how many bridges he burned, the expectation remained. He would always find his way back. But now, that door may have closed for good. Since stepping away from royal duties in 2020, Harry has built a life outside the monarchy. It started with the Oprah interview, startling revelations, accusations of racism, and claims of being let down by his family. Then came the Netflix documentary, a carefully crafted narrative of betrayal. Finally, his memoir Spare delivered, an unfiltered account portraying his brother as aggressive, his stepmother as manipulative, and his father as weak. If there was ever a chance for reconciliation, Spare might have been the final nail in the coffin. The Queen's passing in 2022 marked a crucial moment. The world watched as Harry and Meghan stepped out alongside William and Catherine, a rare sight of unity. But behind the scenes, insiders later shared that for Catherine, it was one of the most difficult things she had ever done. This wasn't a heartfelt reunion. It was a duty. Then came another test, King Charles's cancer diagnosis. Harry returned to the UK, but only for a brief 24-hour visit. There were no meetings with William, no deep conversations with his father. The visit felt more like an obligation than a true return home. So, is there any way back for Harry? Some say no. They believe he has crossed a line. His tell-all revelations, his criticism of the monarchy, and his unwillingness to make amends may have closed the door for good. For William, the future king, the damage may simply be beyond repair. But others see it differently. No matter what has happened, Harry will always be the king's son. Time has a way of mending even the deepest wounds, and as Charles's health declines and William takes on greater responsibilities, there may come a moment when the family needs him again. But under what conditions? A full return to royal life seems almost impossible. The monarchy has moved forward, with William and Catherine taking on more prominent roles. Public trust in Harry has been shaken, and if he does come back, it won't be as a working royal. It will be from the sidelines. Then there's Meghan. Would the royal family ever truly welcome Harry back, if she remains by his side? Many believe his only path to reconciliation is to return alone. Meghan's legal battles, public interviews, and Hollywood career are seen by some as a permanent barrier between Harry and the royal family. That leads to the toughest question of all. If forced to choose between his wife and his family, who would Harry pick? History has seen royal exiles before. Edward VIII chose love over duty and spent the rest of his life in quiet exile. Prince Andrew's downfall ensured he would never return to public royal life. Will Harry follow that same path, or will he, one day, find a way back? And if that day comes, will William even care? Has Harry chosen a road he can never turn back from? The British royal family stands at a crossroads, an uncertain future weighed down by an unshakable past. King Charles faces a health battle, while whispers of abdication grow louder. William, hardened by betrayal, refuses to look back. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, remains the one constant, still holding on to the idea of family. But even she may not be able to mend the wounds that have been inflicted. And Harry? He watches from the outside, looking in on a world he once belonged to, knowing the door may never open again. So, what happens next? Could King Charles break tradition and step down? Will William ever soften toward his brother? And, more importantly, can Harry ever return? Or has he burned every bridge beyond repair? Some believe time can mend even the deepest wounds, while others say some betrayals can never be forgiven. What do you think? Is there still a path to reconciliation? Or has this family rift reached the point of no return? If you want to stay ahead of every royal update, every controversy, and every behind-the-scenes revelation, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. When it comes to the King YouTube channel and the royal family, we break down the truth behind the headlines. No fluff, no spin, just facts and expert analysis. This story is far from over, and I'll be here to cover every moment. See you in the next one.